What's up, everybody? This is Zach with the Nerd Cave Podcast. Today is episode 176, and I'm joined by this handsome devil beside me,
Derek Diamond.
Derek, how's it been?
Good. Baseball is over.
Over? Completely?
Yep, completely over.
You're free?
I am free, at least until April. So what happened was not this past Saturday, but the one before, we also had UWF football, which that was like its own separate thing. Like, it was completely different than baseball. The environment was really cool because you had the stadium was packed. We had bleachers in the outfield. Fans were rowdy. They were really into it, into all the music and everything. While that was going on, the Wahoos were in Mississippi playing the Braves.
Yeah.
Now, if they had won, then we would have had Game 5, which would have been here. So we would have had less than 24 hours to turn the stadium from football back into baseball. So we would have had to rebuild the pitcher's mound, all that stuff, had to paint over the yard markers.
Because y'all had to break the pitcher's mound down, didn't y'all?
We had close to 20 people that were out there just with pickaxes and shovels tearing the mound down.
Wow.
They got it done in about an hour. It was really impressive. There's a cool time lapse on YouTube. I'll post it on the Facebook page.
Yeah, that'd be cool to see.
It took Thursday. Yeah, it took 2 days to completely transform it from baseball to football.
Y'all kept the diamond, right?
Yes. Now that baseball is over, we're going to put sod in the infield, so it's going to be complete grass. But since the season wasn't over, we left the dirt in. But the Wahoos lost right around the same time the UWF game was over. So it sucked that they lost, but at the same time, I was happy that I was going to get to have a Sunday to just relax and do nothing.
Yeah.
So that's what I've just been trying to do, is relax as much as possible. Played a couple of retro games, which you'll see on our gaming channel over the next couple of weeks. Other than that, nothing too terribly exciting. I did watch a new show.
What's that?
Have you seen the commercials for the live-action animation hybrid Son of Zorn?
I have seen it. I've been curious if it's actually good.
So I don't know if they just released it early online, but I downloaded the Fox app, and they had the first episode. And it was actually pretty good. It was a little adult, but nothing like too controversial.
Yeah.
It's nothing different than you'd see on network TV these days. But Zorn is basically a warrior from this land that's in the Pacific Ocean, and everything there is animated. Think He-Man.
Yeah,
and
that's what it looked like to me.
And that's what this world is like. What ends up happening is he visits the real world. He ends up, having a relationship. They have a kid. And then he leaves to go back to his homeland. Well, and he comes back many years later when his son is 17, and he wants to try and have a relationship with him before he gets, too old and moves off and does his own thing. Well, it turns out that his son is a lot different than him. He's very skinny, soft-spoken, and he's a vegetarian.
So almost Derek Diamond in a nutshell.
Minus the vegetarian part, yes. But it's pretty good. Tim Meadows is in it. I don't know if he was from The Ladies' Man in classic SNL skits. He was really the only actor that I knew, but it was pretty good. The story was pretty standard for like a
pilot.
Yeah, a pilot or whatever. The mixing of animation and live action I thought was pretty good. I mean, obviously he's going to stand out because he's animated, but it looks kind of as realistic as it can with the shadows. Like, the shadows will be the same on him as it is on a live-action person. So it was kind of cool.
I wonder if they had, like, the actor standing in a green suit.
I hope so.
To do it, just so they could do the scene a little bit more naturally.
Yeah. I'd love to see some behind-the-scenes stuff on how they shot it.
Yeah, stuff like that is always interesting me, like how they produce this thing and how they make everything work.
Well, it kind of goes back to the whole Who Framed Roger Rabbit movie from the late 80s. I mean, they were able to pull it off back then. So it's always been a really fascinating process to me. But I'm curious to watch more.
Oh, yeah. I've wanted to check it out. Every time I see a trailer on YouTube, I'm like, I need to watch this. I think this would be something that right up my alley.
It's so outlandish that it's good. So download the Fox app and check it out. I think the actual premiere is this upcoming Sunday, the
Okay.
25th. So if you haven't watched it online, you can watch it then. If not, you can download the Fox app and watch it early.
Yeah. Shout out to Fox.
Yeah,
app.
for actually doing something right.
Yeah.
So how about you, Zach? It's been a while.
Kind of crazy. Wasn't able to be on last week because I went with my future father-in-law to a Florida game, and
Looks like you had great seats.
I had amazing seats. He's been a season ticket holder for a very long time, and anyway, short story. We were talking at our engagement party, mine and Amy's engagement party, about football and everything. I was like, yeah, I would love to be able to go to a game sometime soon or whatever. Been wanting to go, and it's been almost 5 years.
Since the last time we went.
Yeah, when we went my first year teaching, and he's like, oh, yeah, I have season tickets, but I usually sell them. So it was like a week maybe. He was like, hey, I've got tickets to the game against Kentucky. You want to go? And I had to make sure I could go and everything, but I went, and the seats were just fantastic. We were at the 40-yard line in the Champions Club. We were right above the press box.
That's awesome.
And free food. People actually opened the doors for us.
Holy crap.
That was how swanky it was. Never even had to climb a stair. It was all escalators all the way up.
That's so awesome, because you know how that stadium is.
Yeah.
The incline is like this.
Yeah. And we were in the very front row. It was front row and then death. If you fell off.
Yeah, I saw your photo.
Yeah. And it was just phenomenal. The game was great. The environment was great. Got to sing the Old Boys of Florida. Mm-hmm. FLORDIA.
I wish I could have been there for opening week when they named the field Steve Spurrier Field, because he got to do the whole Mr. Two Bits thing. And what was funny was I found out they gave him a minute to talk, and then he took 6. But I'm like, you're not going to tell the guy no.
Yeah.
You're not going to be that guy that walks on the field and says, hey, you have to go.
Yeah, the people that did the 2 bits, that game was the 2007 NCAA champions.
Oh, the basketball team?
Yeah,
ESPN's doing a documentary on them because they won back-to-back championships. They're doing a 30 for 30 on them.
Yeah. So Donovan was there, the coach of OKC, Joakim Noah. The whole team was there, and Al Horford and everything. It was really interesting to get to see them there.
That's awesome.
And then great football, of course. Been busy at work, though. We had this fundraiser, and the reason I'm telling you this is a big part in my life. Had a fundraiser, and the goal was to hit $10,000. And somehow they roped me into agreeing to something. If we raised $10,000, I would shave my beard. So we've raised almost $16,000.
Oh, no.
So tomorrow after practice, that's why I asked you if you were busy.
Film it?
Yeah, they're going to shave my beard. They're bringing in a barber and a barber's chair and everything into the band room, and they're going to shave my beard. So
you got to get somebody to film it with your phone, and then you can post it. Because, I mean, these things film in pretty good quality.
Oh, yeah, they do. But it's
wow.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time I saw you without a beard. It's probably since you were in high school.
Yeah. So it's been quite a long time. I've had facial hair for a very long time, but a beard I've had.
That's going to feel so weird.
Yeah. I'm not looking forward to it, but,
But you met your goal and surpassed it. So.
Oh, yeah. By leaps and bounds. So you'll see a few videos of me without a beard, but they didn't give me a timeline on how long I had to keep it. Clean shave, so as soon as it's over, it's growing back out.
Just grow it right back.
But
so that's awesome that you met your goal, though.
Oh yeah. I thoroughly happy with everything. Hitting that mark is hitting it and above it is amazing. So
absolutely,
yeah. So I might do a goodbye video to my beard though.
You should put in the classic Boyz II Men song, How Do I Say Goodbye?
I thought about when I was going to the barber's chair, have someone shut off the lights and do the bell tolling from Undertaker's.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
So that being said, let's get into the news.
News.
So, Rise, of course, we're recording this on the weekend before it all comes out and all of that good stuff. So yesterday was the day that God gave us the most important figure of history.
Debatable.
Other than Jesus. And that is Batman.
Sure.
Of history. Making sure that, like, Batman's a real person, if everyone doesn't know that.
Yeah.
So, Batman Day, best day in the world, because the B-Man.
Remind me, I've got a funny Batman story to tell you after we do this news.
So, director Zack Snyder, very involved. He's really good at social media marketing.
Yes, he is.
Probably one of the best at it. Puts out this picture. And we've seen mock-ups of J.K. Simmons.
Some very good mock-ups.
As Commissioner Gordon. And then he puts out this little ditty. And it's him pulling the drape off of the bat signal and him standing there with his hat. Like, he just perfect.
Perfect casting choice as Commissioner Gordon. Like, I loved Gary Oldman in Christopher Nolan's series, but I think J.K. Simmons could surpass him.
Oh, yeah. I think he's going to trounce him, like 100%.
Like, J.K. Simmons is such a good actor. I would have been, like, for this Spider-Man reboot, I would have been okay if they just brought him back as J. Jonah Jameson, because he looked like he jumped right off of the pages and onto the screen. And honestly, the way he looks as Gordon kind of reminds me of the same.
Yeah, and like just the lighting and everything, the water, it being reflected and everything.
Yeah.
It's just perfect. And I cannot wait to see what happens.
Justice League, I'm very, very excited for. Like, I think Justice League is going to be very good.
Yeah, and you talked about Deathstroke last week.
Oh, my God.
I'm just...
Did you see what Manu Bennett wrote to... whatever his name is, Joe Manganiello, about him playing Deathstroke? He said, okay, if Joe is going to play Slade Wilson, then I get to be in Magic Mike 3.
I'd watch it.
Oh, yeah. Manu, I mean, I love Manu Bennett, but I think Joe Manganiello, from what very little I've seen of him, I think he's got the look of Slade Wilson, because he even reminds me a little bit of Manu Bennett.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be fine.
Yeah, he's got the right physique and everything, and he was actually in How I Met Your Mother.
Really?
Yeah, he was Marshall's friend in the show, so I like him.
Yeah, I think Deathstroke is the perfect villain choice for that Batman movie.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's something that's completely different. We don't have to worry about seeing, a Joker again or Two-Face. It's a completely different villain than what we've seen on the big screen.
Yeah.
And Deathstroke's a perfect adversary for Batman.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be perfectly matched. It's not going to be something that's so far out there that he can't beat. Deathstroke is as skilled as Batman and is deadly, so it's perfect, but we're not going to get to hear that line.
Put an arrow in his eye.
Yeah.
I made you a promise, kid.
Put an arrow in his eye. So, he also, Zack Snyder's just teasing it everywhere.
Well, it was Batman Day. It was a big day.
Yeah. So, he actually put out a new picture of Batman, and this is the tactical bat suit. And a lot of people tried to compare this to the owl from The Watchmen.
I don't see it.
Like, if you squint and you take off your glasses, maybe. But
with the goggles, I can kind of see it. But the armor, honestly, like looking at this picture, the armor reminds me of Christian Bale's suit a little bit.
Yeah, it kind
of the material.
Yeah, the material reminds me of that. It actually looks like the last Arkham game, like how it was much more armored and everything. So I'm fine with it. It looks great.
I actually
done.
I like the different bat suits, like the tactical bat suit, a suit that he has, for cold weather when he fights Mr. Freeze. I'm a fan of the various bat suits.
Yeah, because, one bat suit's not, it's not one size fit all type deal. But he tweeted out, this is the last day filming Batman in the new tactical bat suit. Check it out right here. So if you haven't seen it, definitely go check it out.
Yeah.
It is well worth it. And then it just kept coming. It just kept coming this week.
Dun, 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 dun.
Like this one right here. Rogue One put out some new promotional, not fodder, but promotional stuff. Posters for their Asian territories. And the Korean one, I want to say it was Korea and somewhere else. I can't remember, but Japan.
Yep.
Just
breathtaking.
Yes. Like, if I was on that planet and the Death Star was right there, I would be crapping myself.
I would hop on the first ship off that planet.
Yes, I would too. And then this one doesn't... It's not as good, in my opinion.
It needs something more. Like, I like the lights. It's like they're going through the detention cell in the Death Star. But it needs, like, you see the lights and then black. There needs to be some texture there.
Yeah, like, there needs to be something, like, it looks like they photoshopped everybody in.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. And this kind of looks that way as well, the one with the Death Star, but it still looks so good that we can get past that. But I'm glad they're putting, more stuff out there, not giving away the story. We know
what the story is.
We know what happens, but we don't know how we get there. And I'm just glad that they're putting some stuff out there. If they just took her out of there, that would have been a perfect poster, in my opinion.
This movie is going to be really good.
Oh, yeah.
I've said it before, but I think they can do something unique and cool with these spin-offs because you don't have to focus on the Skywalker family. Mm-hmm. You can tell different stories, like with this, we're getting how the Rebels got the Death Star plans. Mm-hmm. I mean, we've got a Han Solo movie, and we know that obviously it's not going to have any of the Skywalkers in it.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're doing with the other ones, but I think these can be something that stand on their own while fitting into a larger story.
Yeah, I think this is the perfect chance to explore the universe in a more fulfilling way. Like, yes, I love seeing the Force, I love seeing Jedi and all of that, but getting something other than that, because you've got 7 movies so far that is just filled with it.
Yeah.
So getting, people that aren't Force sensitive, that are just normal people trying to, defeat a great evil or whatever, is going to be a lot more interesting than what we've seen 7 times in a row already.
Well, plus it's a big galaxy out there. Mm-hmm. We don't have just the Skywalker family in it. Yeah. I'd like to see other stories.
If I could vote for one story, well, it'd be one or two. It'd either be Darth Bane. I would love to see a Darth Bane movie, or make Thrawn the villain.
He is part of the canon now.
He is. I would love to see a Thrawn movie.
This is kind of, it fits in with the Skywalker story, but something that I'd like to see maybe down the line, a CG animated Shadows of the Empire.
Ooh. I like
Bring back Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, Harrison Ford to do all the voices.
I'd love that.
That'd be so good.
Well, maybe not Harrison Ford. If he's just getting paid to voice act.
Maybe a flashback or two. I know he's frozen during that time period, but maybe a flashback or two.
Yeah. So Rogue One's been going through several weeks of reshoots after Alexandre Desplat, I guess that's how you say his name.
Something like that.
Was replaced by Michael Giacchino as the film's new composer. So Alexander, whatever, was a composer for the Harry Potter series. Very interesting that he was replaced. There must have been something going on, or he might not have been following what they were wanting him to achieve. You don't see composers getting replaced very often in movies, so that's a pretty interesting one. And then Michael Giacchino, he's done The Incredibles, but he also did Star Trek. So very, very good guy. He does a lot of theme and variation, though.
Yeah.
So, but at this point in time, Star Wars is pretty set in stone on what it needs to sound like, and if it sounds like Star Wars, then you've done your job.
Yeah.
And as long as he doesn't write the main ones, then I'm fine.
Yeah.
Because it needs to stay.
The king still needs to stay with the main movies.
Yeah, exactly. Some more Star Wars news. Turner signs movie cable rights deal with Disney. The estimated price was over $250 million.
It's worth it, though.
According to Variety, Turner signed a deal with Disney that industry sources estimate to be no less than $250 million. This partnership grants Turner their basic cable rights to 10 Star Wars films, 4 of which are still on the horizon, with a separate agreement being made with 20th Century Fox for the original film A New Hope. In addition to Turner, USA Networks, and FX Networks were also in contention with the deal. So I'm guessing this is...
Runs through 2022.
Yeah, so this is for them to have exclusive rights to show the movies and everything. Yeah. So it's very interesting that they would want to do that. I remember Turner used to have a deal where they could show, like during Thanksgiving, they would always show the original 3. Yeah. So that was always a big deal because I remember Thanksgiving was James Bond and Star Wars.
Yep.
So I watched the mess out of some James
Great
Bond
time
and
for TV.
Yeah, it is. Your belly's full and you're on the verge of a coma. So
usually with me, I'm in the coma. Like the last 2 years, anytime I come home from Thanksgiving, I take like an hour and a half nap.
I try to fight through it.
As I've gotten older, it's gotten harder.
So, going on with that, Adam Driver has compared the greatest movie ever made by a human being, Episode 5.
The greatest movie there ever is, was, or will be.
He has compared it to Episode 8's script. In an interview with Collider, Driver says, it's similar to how The Empire Strikes Back has a different tone. For that, people always go, ooh, it's dark. But I don't know that it's necessarily is. It's just different in tone in a way that I think is great and necessary, but also very clever. He goes on to say...
Rian Johnson trusts his audience and ready for nuance and ambiguity, and he is not dumbing anything down, which I think is awesome.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest problem with Hollywood is, they won't understand that, so let's spoon feed it and water it down. What do you think about that?
I think, it's not going to be as good as Empire Strikes Back. Mm-hmm. I think taking it in a darker direction, I think is good. I hope there are certain things that don't happen just for the sake of them happening. Like, I'll go ahead and say it. I don't want Luke Skywalker to get killed off in this movie.
I don't either.
Because it would feel like they're trying to replicate what happened in The Force Awakens. Like, you can't just kill off one by one the original characters.
Yeah.
Like, if something happens in, say, Episode 9, then I think it would be different. But I don't think that Luke, Leia, or any of the original characters need to be killed off in this movie.
Yeah.
I think what will probably happen is that we'll see the good guys in the end of the movie. They'll be hurt or basically down like they were at the end of Empire, where Han gets frozen and taken by Boba Fett. Luke gets his hand cut off. I think the heroes will be in a bad but a hopeful position at the end of the movie. And then 9 is when everything's resolved.
Yeah. I hope it picks right up where it left off, which that is the case.
It picks up right where Force Awakens left off.
Him saying, it's dark, but I don't know if it's necessarily, is dark. That kind of, is it dark? That kind of leaves room for that. I think if they want to be successful, they can't, if they remake... like what people were saying that Force Awakens was a remake of New Hope. If they just remake The Empire Strikes Back, people are going to start getting pissed.
I don't think they will.
And I think they're smart enough not to do that.
There is one moment that I think would be kind of cool as a reflection of Empire Strikes Back. We all know the scene where Luke tries to pick up the X-Wing out of the swamp, and he says he can't do it because it's too big. And then Yoda just walks over and goes...
Those were the sound effects they brought in.
Pretty
Derek
much.
Diamond. They're like, all right, here you go.
I'm like the Police Academy guy. What I would love to see is a Star Destroyer in orbit around the planet, and Luke just brings it down.
Do you I remember? Did you ever play? What was that game? Oh my god! It was The like it was
Force Unleashed.
Force
Yes.
Unleashed. Okay, so you played the part where you bring down. I don't know if, since Luke being a Jedi, I don't know if he would kill that many people though.
True.
See, but it would be awesome. Oh my God, it'd be.
I
awesome.
think it'd be kind of a cool reflection where it's like, oh, this guy who thought he couldn't pick up a small ship then brings down an entire Star Destroyer.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be an awesome visual. But yeah, I see your point about he wouldn't kill that many people.
Or, he might be a gray Jedi instead of a regular Jedi. But I'm excited about it. I think Episode 8 is going to be a great movie. We've been introduced to the cast, the new cast. I like all of them. Kylo Ren, I think, is going to be an awesome villain. Snoke, I'm ready to learn more about him. I'm ready to see the training. I'm hoping, we've seen the Jedi training.
I want some Sith training.
That's what I'm really wanting, and to learn who Snoke really is, because I know I've been asked several times, who's Snoke, and I'm like, I really don't know, because they haven't really given anything.
But that's what's cool,
yeah,
is that we don't know.
It's Jar Jar Binks. That's why his face is all like he cut off his bill.
I still say he brought down the galaxy.
He did.
Because he gave powers to the Chancellor.
Mm-hmm. I hate you, Jar Jar Binks.
Yep.
Moving on to some gaming news, but staying in the Star Wars universe, there was a game that we really liked, and then it got
seemed like we were in the minority.
We were in the minority, but it had about 20 hours.
Yeah.
About 20 hours of gameplay, and that's like really pushing it to be enjoyable. And this is Star Wars Battlefront. Love the game. Game is gorgeous. Amazing gameplay. It's very light on content.
Yeah.
But the new DLC pack, which has the Death Star in it, and space combat, the first time you get to do some space combat in the air and everything, will be coming out September 20th. Along with these release dates, EA revealed a new gameplay trailer highlighting the DLC, including the Battle Station mode. Seeing some of the new updates on this, I kind of wanted to play it, but I was like, no, I'm not getting sucked back into this. Chewbacca looks cool as the Rebels hero, and Boss looks really awesome.
Very underrated bounty hunter.
He is, and he has, because there's the battle station there. I don't remember what it was completely, but I know they were trying to get R2-D2 out. Like, he downloaded the plans and everything of the Death Star, and Bosk was running, and like R2-D2 made this whole smoke screen, and Bosk like used an ability, and like it was heat sensing and everything. So he started picking people off. I was like, this is awesome.
That is cool.
And the space combat looks amazing.
Yes, it does.
So if you're still playing Battlefront, then I'm sure you already
If you still play it, then definitely get it.
Yeah, I'm sure you already have the season pass.
Yeah.
That would be the only people that I would say go back and play. If you've already got the season pass, go back and play this for sure. But this is right here.
More Nintendo stuff.
So we've talked about Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild. And like I said, last time we talked about it, I'm actually getting excited. Well, according to some data in Nintendo's Europe sites, this was spotted on Reddit. The 3 Breath of the Wild amiibos are labeled in codes with a release date of March 4th, 2017. IGN confirmed the appearance of this date in the site source code and on the UK and French website as seen below. IGN has reached out for a comment and will update the story. So what all of that boils down to is the NX is coming out March of 2017. These amiibos that are tied to the game are coming out March 4th. That possibly is the release date of Breath of the Wild, which they're going... The only smart way to do it is release it simultaneously on Wii U and NX.
That's what they did with Twilight Princess. They released it on both GameCube and the Wii on the same day.
So, NX, I'm saying, is launching March 4th.
Could be March 4th. I'm really excited, but at the same time, I'm starting to... Nintendo needs to release what the NX is within the next month or so.
Yeah.
Like, by October, we need to know what the NX is, what we can expect from the launch lineup, and all of that good stuff.
This is the perfect time, okay? And the reason why I say this, PlayStation has kind of stepped in it with the PlayStation 4 Pro.
A lot of people are upset about that.
A lot of people, they've lost a lot of goodwill that they've had going on for a while. So PlayStation 4 is out, Xbox One S is out, and it's actually doing fairly well.
Yep.
But the Scorpio is not out right now. So you have people like, why did PlayStation do this? This is the perfect time while the iron is hot to strike and release it and be like, this is what we're doing. This is what it looks like. You can get it on this date. This is the price. See you there. Go pre-order right now.
How awesome would it be if Nintendo just released a Direct? And
Not even say they were doing it.
And they just said, oh, this is the NX.
Yeah.
People would flip out. I would flip out.
Yeah. That would be perfect.
And you know what I would do? I would run to GameStop and I would pre-order the NX.
Mm-hmm. That would be. They need to do it very, very soon before people get over the whole PS4 Pro thing, because PS4 has a 40 million install base right now.
Yeah.
Nintendo is in this in-between space again. That both of the bigger consoles are releasing updates on their versions and everything. So get it before the Scorpio comes out. That can be,
because that will dominate the news.
Yeah, because that's going to dominate news. That's going to dominate sales because it's going to be such a powerful machine. Get it while it's there, because people aren't going to buy the PS4 Pro unless they're all into 4K and all of that. But this is the perfect time.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping March 4th, but they need to say something like 3
sooner than
months
later.
ago.
Yeah.
So we'll come back to those here in a second. South Park and the fractured butthole.
Butthole.
Like when people talk about it, they always go the fractured the butthole. Like it's like very but it is
sophisticated.
But B-U-T, not B-U-T-T.
Yeah. W-H-O-L-E.
Yeah. So South Park, the fractured butthole actually looks really good. I've seen gameplay of it. It looks funny. I'm not a South Park person. I enjoyed the Stick of Truth of what I played it. Really, really fun. Good gameplay, good jokes, all of that good stuff. And the sad thing is, it went through a development hell. Like, it took such a long time for Trey Parker and
Matt Stone.
There you go. I couldn't remember his name, to actually get the game out. It took forever. And I'm hoping that this is not the same thing, because they've got the game already built. They're just polishing it. So if you don't know, South Park and the fractured butthole has been delayed until 2017. The original release date was December 6, 2016, but it's going to be launching in Q1 2017.
That's big.
It is
You're
big.
missing out on the Christmas sales.
Mm-hmm. And that would have been such a huge game for people that like their content, that really enjoy it, and want something that's funny around that time. You know, you don't really want something dark around the Christmas time of year. I find it interesting they didn't give an exact date for Q1. That says a lot to me. That says, okay,
maybe it's not as complete as we thought.
That's saying, okay, we got some serious work to do. It's September right now. That's October, November, December. Q1 starts January.
It's January to March.
Yeah, so that's January, February, March. That could be up to 6 months more of development. That a game can change by that time. So I'm hoping that it's in a good place, but that's kind of a red flag to me.
Yeah.
If they're pushing back that much. So hopefully they'll be able to do it. They said the development team wants to make sure the game experience meets the high expectations of fan, and the additional time will help them achieve this goal. So good luck to Ubisoft and Trey and Matt on that endeavor.
I still think it will do well. I just think that it sucks of them missing out on the Christmas sales. Because that's a big, big time for games.
Oh, yeah. That's when all the consoles get sold. That's when it's just money.
Yep.
Money. It's just flying everywhere. So there was a new trailer out for this game.
You were excited about this.
It's just sexy. It's just sexy. All sorts of sexy.
It was a gorgeous-looking game. And we're talking about Horizon Zero Dawn.
The Tokyo Game Show was this past weekend, and there was a lot of things which we'll get into a little bit more here in just a second. But Horizon Zero Dawn from the very moment that they released a trailer at E3, I have been intrigued. Mm-hmm. And every time they show something else, I'm like, I've got to play this game. I have got to play this game. And this was all in Japanese, so we don't know what the crap that was said. Hopefully they were released.
But the visuals alone were so good.
Yeah. And it kind of, just from watching it, was showing, okay, the world was this bustling technological masterpiece type deal, and then things just went to crap, and then the wild took over, and the machines become all of this stuff. Graphics, oh my God, this is... it's going to be beautiful, guys and gals. I don't want to leave y'all out.
Drooling.
Just delicious. So we had a question from one and only Adam Gumbert.
Shout out to Adam Gumbert.
Thank you, Adam, for going over to our Facebook page, posting this question. For any Metal Gear fans, what are your thoughts on the Metal Gear Survive gameplay? Not being a Metal Gear fan myself, I think the game looks decently interesting, and since I have no real love for Kojima, I could give it a chance. What about you guys?
I'm not really a Metal Gear fan either. I've never really played any of their games. Like, it's just never intrigued me.
Yeah.
So I personally will not be checking it out.
Okay. I'm just going to read this one part again. I have no real love for Kojima. Who are you? Do you not like video games?
Did you ever watch Rocko's Modern Life?
Yes.
Do you remember the giant hippo lady?
No.
Well, she would only say these three little words, and I will say this to Mr. Gumbert. How dare you?
Okay. So Kojima, if Kojima was not in the video game industry, video games would not be where they are at.
No.
Okay. So, and yes, he probably did something wrong. We don't really know. We just saw how Konami handled it so poorly and got so much bad PR. We've talked about it many, many times on here. I'm not going to get into it. Go reevaluate your life, Adam.
You want to go home and rethink your life.
But that being said, I watched the gameplay for Metal Gear Survive. It was about 15 minutes. They were showcasing it at the Tokyo Game Show. And looks just like Metal Gear 5, Phantom Pain. Have nothing wrong with that. Game looks great. Game played great. But they're in this alternate reality with these creatures. They won't call them zombies, but they're creatures. And it has some different playing mechanics where you're having to gather a lot more resources to build what you need and everything. And you've got these wormholes and all. It's just kind of a gobbledygook in some places, but some of the gameplay was actually interesting with you're having to set up these beacons to punch through this wormhole to get back to where you were and all of this. But you get to build fences, and it's kind of like Horde mode in Gears of War, which I find very interesting. I always loved Horde mode. But for it to be a full price, it's not even a full price game. For it to be a game, there's got to be some kind of story elements. Gameplay wise, it's Phantom Pain with some bells and whistles attached to it. But overall, I probably won't unless I gamefly it, but I'm not going to support Konami financially, just because of the way they handle all of that. But I did find this interesting, because Kojima actually come out and said something at Tokyo Game Show. So Kojima took the opportunity to distance himself from Konami's forthcoming game, Metal Gear Survive, the spin-off of Kojima's acclaimed Metal Gear series. When asked whether the idea of Survive had come from Kojima himself, he replied, "That's nothing to do with me." Right up there. That's telling you a lot.
Yeah.
Just letting y'all know that. The Metal Gear games are about political fiction and espionage, he continued. Where do zombies fit in with that?
He's got a point.
Kojima was also joined by Yoji Shinonakawa, the former character and mechanical designer of it, and he denied also having any kind of involvement in planning any of this. And he said, if I had worked on that game, it would have had mechs in it. So, kind of give you a little bit there on all of that. But very interesting, that whole situation. We all knew that Konami would go back to the well of Metal Gear.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's their really last standing big franchise.
It's their big franchise that people know.
Yeah, but for them to turn around so fast,
That's kind of messed up.
it's kind of messed up, and it's telling me that they're using a lot of the same assets, but they're not giving a lot of time for this to develop, which is a red flag for me again. But Kojima also went on and he talked about Death Stranding, which we saw at E3 this year. Very weird trailer. Norman Reedus naked and picking up a baby that dissolved into handprints. It was really just strange. It was like an acid trip.
A lot of female Walking Dead fans will be happy at that first thing.
So Kojima went on to talk about it will be out before the Olympics. And so he's referring to the 2020 Tokyo Games. And to go a little further, there's a movie called Akira, and it will be coming out before the year in which Akira is set. And the anime movie is set in 2019, so before that, so that's 2018. That is a very quick turnaround as well for how long it took him to go from Metal Gear 4 to Metal Gear 5. I don't know if he's going to hit that date.
It's going to be tough.
It's going to be very tough, but I don't know if he can hit that date. So it's very interesting. This whole thing was fed by Twitter questions, and someone asked if Norman Reedus was naked or nude, whatever. And he said no, he was wearing underwear, unfortunately.
Keyword, unfortunately.
Yeah, keyword is unfortunately. There's a comma.
Yeah.
So,
however, comma.
But it's a very interesting looking game. I don't know, like, from what the beginning of Metal Gear 5 was just such a mind bend that it's kind of like, where is he headed on some of this stuff? So he's always had a very different take on things. So interested to see where that is. So going back to the well of questions.
The Facebook.
We'll go with another video game one before we switch gears again. With Forza Horizon 3 coming out, what are the best dream cars you'd love to drive in a game? I'm going to go ahead and say I'd like to drive the 66 Batmobile, so try not to copy my answer.
Sunglasses, smiley face.
I ain't got to copy your answer, son. I ain't got to copy none of your stuff.
Now, if we're just picking any car, my answer is easy.
What is
and that would be the DeLorean from Back to the Future. Because once you hit 88 miles per hour, you can just skip ahead in time and beat everybody.
Well, mine would be this number right here. Shoot, where's the name at? DB10.
We're going espionage here.
Yeah, we're going espionage. We're going to the Aston Martin DB5. So that would be one of them. As well as not the 66 Batmobile, but the Dark Knight Returns Batmobile, the tank.
Yeah. Well, then you can just mow over everybody.
Yeah, just shoot everybody.
If we're going Batmobile, I would probably go with the Tim Burton one.
Ooh,
I've always been a big fan of that one.
I like that one.
It's classic.
Yeah, I like that one. Speeder bike from Star Wars would be awesome.
Yeah.
That would be really cool. And then any Crash Bandicoot racing karts.
Vin Diesel's car from the original Fast and the Furious, the black one that he drove at the very end. The thing was a beast.
Mm-hmm. So many to choose from. Gone in 60 Seconds, that Shelby, that Mustang
Such
Shelby.
a good movie.
Yes, and that car is delicious.
Yes, it is.
So that would be that. Not a Forza fan though. I'm
not either.
My racing games, I've got to have some little leeway to it. I'm not a simulator kind of guy, so I'm not a huge fan of Forza now.
I'm pretty much Mario Kart.
Yeah. Need for Speed Underground 1 and 2. That was my jam. That was right in the height of the very first Fast and the Furious.
NASCAR Racing 1995 for PlayStation 1. One of the best racing games of all time. Down the road, not flirting. Yeah,
disaster.
Used to play that game with my dad all the time.
Get to shoot the paintballs and all that. There was another one. It was it was NASCAR, but it was like all these weird tracks. It wasn't regular.
What was that? We'll go to the well.
We'll go to the well.
Well, while you search for it, let's do a question. See, from Derek Daniel, since TV seasons technically start this week with Gotham starting tomorrow and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. starting Tuesday, I just wanted to know if you had any hopes for their third and fourth seasons respectively, especially with the big bads being the Court of Owls for Gotham and Ghost Rider for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., or any bold predictions. I just couldn't get into Gotham. Mm-hmm. I tried. I love the guy that they got to play Harvey Bullock. He looked the part. I thought he played the part very well. But like halfway through season 1, I fell off of it. I haven't been able to get back into it. I'm very excited about Ghost Rider in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because it's not Johnny Blaze. It's the Robbie Reyes version from that comic book that we read a couple of years ago, where it's this guy that's looking after like his younger brother, and he gets the Ghost Rider curse and he drives the car instead of the motorcycle. Like there's art out for it and it looks really cool.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good concept with that book. It didn't last very long, but
and it lasted like 12 or 13 issues.
Was it NASCAR Road Racing? Sorry.
NASCAR Road Racing?
No, I don't think that was it. NASCAR Thunder.
Thunder, I think, was the main franchise.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember. I know it started out with Magic Carpet Ride when you loaded up the.
You don't know what we can see.
Like I remember like
that soundtrack is very memorable.
Yeah, it had like boost and like had all different kind of like pickups. It was like a kart racer type deal, but it was NASCAR. And it was really, really fun. Court of Owls. I think that's an awesome way to go with Gotham. Just can't get into Gotham. So it is what it is.
I'm more excited for the DC shows than I am with Marvel. Well, Luke Cage comes out in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I thought it came out today. Like I thought it was like out already on the 17th.
Yeah, it's the 30th.
Yeah, I went to Netflix. I was like, oh, it's not out yet, so I'll just wait.
Yeah.
Waiting.
Yep, the waiting game.
Derek Daniel also says, I forgot to ask last week, but with NFL now in full swing, do you have any dark horses making the playoffs? They don't have to be in the Super Bowl, just teams that no one expects to make the playoffs that you think actually can.
The Oakland Raiders make it as a wild card team. They have a very young team, but they have a very good young quarterback in Derek Carr. They've got a good receiving core. Their offensive line is like top 3 or 4 in the NFL. Their defense, I think, is one step away, but I think they can at least make the playoffs. I think they'll make it and then lose it in the first round, but I have Oakland from the AFC. From the NFC, yeah, we do need to talk about that. Well, I would have said the Vikings until Teddy Bridgewater got hurt. Sorry, Nick. Trying to think by divisions. I don't know. I don't know who from the NFC would make it as a sleeper team.
Florida Gators.
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Roll Tide.
Oh, God.
I will have to say I took great pleasure.
Are you talking about the Florida State game?
Oh, yeah.
That was an embarrassment.
It was.
By Florida State. It was I think the third worst loss by a top 2 team in college football history.
Good.
They were embarrassed.
Oh, yeah. I like it.
Like, absolutely embarrassed.
So I give a little backstory real quick. Yesterday on the whole thing with the fundraising and everything was called a march-a-thon, so we went around a neighborhood march and all that good stuff, and people paid us to play like different various things or whatever, and we put college fight songs. So we had to play LSU. Played LSU once. Totally fine with that. But for some odd reason, FSU fans just came out of the woodwork. So we had to play it like several times. Ugh. So, like, I was just like, like the whole time. It's just cringeworthy.
Makes your blood boil.
Yeah, it does. You know, I was like, whatever. It was like $100 a pop for us to play. and then we get done with that, and it's later in the day, and my band booster president texts me. He's like, you might not have liked playing that FSU fight song all today, but karma caught up with them.
I just could not believe that.
It's
60-something points.
Mind-blowing. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
It was just wow.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, being a Florida fan, like, of course, I was rooting for Louisville, but like at the end of it, I was just like more amazed, like just by the pure margin, like how good Louisville did, because Florida State is a good team.
Oh yeah, they are. That's why it didn't make any sense.
Yeah,
it was like just dumb. Like, what is going on?
It was
here?
crazy. It was absolutely crazy.
So,
this was sad.
To a sad note, we lost someone in the whole pop culture and nerd community this weekend. Clay Martin Crooker. He was an Adult Swim animator and a voice actor. He was at Pensacon twice. Great guy, very kind. Passed away this weekend.
He's most known for playing Zorak and Moltar from Space Ghost Coast to Coast, which was actually a really good cartoon back in the day. I never got a chance to talk with the guy. I know he was at Pensacon multiple times, but I always heard nothing but great things about him, and it's a shame.
Yeah, he was only 54. That's
crazy.
That's the sad part.
That's sad.
And apparently, it was very sudden. Like, he wasn't ill or anything. So,
yeah.
Our thoughts and prayers go out to his friends and families of the ones affected.
Absolutely.
So, that's just a sad thing for that all to happen. So,
yeah.
But all of that being said, we want to thank you, the ones that's looking at us right now as we stare into your eyes, whatever color they are, green, blue, brown,
hazel.
Yeah, just staring into them, longing, just telling you that we appreciate you and everything that you do for us.
Before we get out of here, why don't you tell them about our Patreon?
Guys, we have this awesome thing. It's called Patreon. And it's a way to support us so we can do more awesome things. It's a subscription service throughout the month. You get episodes early. You get a bonus episode. We have several different tiers that you can check out on patreon.com/nerdcave. And we have awesome goals as well. Doing an AMA every month with one or two or all three of us. Live streaming more. Doing a live show every month. So several things that we want to accomplish, but we've got to have your support and to keep the lights on pretty much. So you can check that over at patreon.com/nerdcave. This podcast every week comes out early on Monday for the people that support us $5 and up for the audio and video versions. And then for the people that want to catch it free, they can check it out on Fridays on YouTube and all the podcast services. And we break it up throughout the week as YouTube segments, so you can check it out there. But guys, if you've got the money to help us out, go over and support us. We'd appreciate it a lot. Derek might even do a sexy dance for you.
We'll save it for the Patreon.
Yeah, we should make that a tier. Derek does a sexy dance.
Most awkward thing ever. But we also
put on Pony by Genuine.
Good song, by the way. We do have several podcasts throughout the week in addition to this one. Every Monday we have Nerd Cave Retro with myself and my co-host Jason Robbins. We review a retro game every week, discuss this month in gaming history, any kind of news that involves retro gaming. Wednesday, we have Fantasy Football for Nerds with myself and Robbie Rawls. We get you set for your weekly fantasy football leagues. Thursday is my interview show, The Derek Diamond Experience. Friday is this show, The Nerd Cave Podcast. And on Saturdays, they're on a little bit of a hiatus now, but they'll be back in October, The Pop Culture Palette.
Yeah. So, guys, check out all of those. They're all over podcast services. We work really hard throughout the week to bring you awesome content. And we also have a gaming channel. You can find it over at Nerd Cave Gaming. We have a link in here and all of that good stuff as well. So check it out. We put in some hard work in there. We love to talk about games and do Let's Plays and everything. So go support us over there and hit the subscribe button there. And while you're here, hit the subscribe button here and hit that like. But guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for all our Patreon supporters over there. You know who you are. It's all over the place. You're great. We love you. And if you're not a supporter, we still love you. Just slightly less. Anyway. Guys, this has been Zach.
And Derek.
Have a week.